So I don't use discord.com, but this is something that I've talked about for a long time on this channel. I have very in great detail expressed my discontent with the platform and my dislike of the platform for how distracting it can be for me. I mean, there have been periods of time in my life when I would just constantly check Discord. I would be reopening it and opening it again and again and again. Even if nothing new came up, I would just find myself doing that over and over. And I got on there when I was pretty young, like I was like 14 when I started using Discord. So it isn't exactly a surprise that the more addictive nature of the app wound up addicting me, but I much prefer more simple applications like Signal and Element, or what's sometimes called Matrix, to Discord, because on those applications you literally just have group chats and direct messages or rooms with people that you're interested in talking to. It's not like these huge servers with all these different channels and people, and there aren't these incentives in place to have, more and more people as a part of these servers. Also, the UI isn't as bad as Discord, although the Discord UI can be improved, albeit by breaking TOS. Then again, who cares about TOS? At worst, you get banned, and if anything, that's probably a good thing. So, this has been something I've complained about for a long time. For years, I've been complaining about Discord. If you go all the way back to like 2017 on my channel, and there was a period of about a year where I wasn't actually using it. I was not using it at all. And then very briefly, I came back to the platform for, I want to say, like a month, like 3 weeks, a month, something along those lines. And then I abruptly deleted the account again, which, if you're on my friends list, you've probably seen that. I deleted the account because the objectives that I had with using the platform were achieved. Now, what were those exactly? Well, for one, I wanted to go back and find some things in some old servers that I was in that I knew were still active, with some old friends of mine and things. I wanted to go get that stuff, but also I wanted to have a conversation with my wife, because there was that brief period of time when we were separated. I call it the 100 Years War because it felt like I was at war with myself for 100 years. Very, very difficult time in my life. Very sad that that separation had to occur. But hey, in order for things to be built back up better than they previously were, sometimes they have to get broken a little bit. You got to break a few eggs, as they say. So, I wanted to have a conversation with her, and I knew I could get in contact with her with Discord, so I tried to a number of times and ultimately failed, and I kept emailing, and eventually, she was like, okay, let's just have a conversation, see where this goes. And it ended up going in a really good place, as evidenced by the fact that she and I are back together. But, the point of me going on there was not actually to use Discord and to partake in communities and things like this. It was literally just to do that. I would have never come back to the platform if we had stayed together that entire time. But, in a way, I'm kind of thankful that we didn't stay together that whole time, because the fact that we ended up going apart ended up causing me to reflect on so many of the things wrong with me and with my approach, and our relationship got way strengthened. Some might even say saved, who knows, by that period of separation. Things ended up getting so much better. And so, in a way, I'm thankful for that difficult period of time, but I'm also thankful for Discord, for hosting us and allowing us to, have those conversations that I don't know if we would have been able to have otherwise. And so it was a useful tool for that period of time. But needless to say, if those events had not transpired, I would have never found myself on there again. Now, the other reason, and this was only a minor, somewhat tangential goal with me going back on there, was I wanted new friends in order to distract me from how bad I was feeling as a result of all of those events during the 100 Years' War. And that was certainly very helpful. It was very helpful to, have people to just chat with or, shoot the shit with or whatever. But, people who've been on this channel for a long time, they know me pretty well. They know my isolationist tendencies. They know about my dislike of the platform and my tendency to move inward and focus on my passions. And so, of course, I ended up leaving the platform yet again. And I doubt many of those people are losing sleep over that. But it was an inevitability. I think it was probably understood as an inevitability by most. But even more so given the direction that the platform is going in. Now, I would have never gone back because of the nature of the platform, how addictive I find it to be, and the other structural problems I have with it that I've complained about in other videos, which I will link in the description of this one. But also, to add insult to injury, Discord's TOS has consistently gotten worse, and it appears as though they are attempting to engage in a kind of mass surveillance of everybody's messages now, and it doesn't even seem to be working that well. Like, you can literally be criticizing somebody else who is doing a bad or illegal thing without even talking to someone who's doing that, just criticizing someone who's doing that in concept, and then get banned. I personally have a friend who was talking about different behaviors that they disagreed with and then got banned for just talking about it because Discord was testing out their implementation of AI moderation. Now, I haven't personally researched if this is actually something that they're implementing or not. This is a claim that my friend made to me, and at the time I was able to verify, yeah, they were banned. So take this with a grain of salt, but I would not be surprised if this is actually something that they're doing, given the fact that AI is being used in more and more spheres of our digital life, and obviously it's used for moderation on YouTube. I know that pretty well, unfortunately. And so if this is really what they're doing, and if they're trying to engage in this kind of Orwellian mass surveillance and ban people for things that they haven't even done, then I think it's not a platform that we should support with our time, and it's not a good place to communicate on point blank. But moreover, philosophically speaking, I disagree with the idea of communicating with anyone on an unencrypted channel, because I don't want my conversations to be potentially viewed by the employees of a private company. I certainly don't want my conversations to be viewed by the employees of the government, especially not a government which is going in an increasingly authoritarian direction, such as the one that exists in Washington right now. And so when you take all of that into context, I do not want to find myself on that platform. As a matter of first principle, I don't agree with unencrypted apps, and also I don't agree with apps which do not make their source code known to the public. If you have an app, it should be open source. We should be able to read all the code to find out if it's doing some shady stuff like phoning home or, sending all of our data about what we're doing to someone on a secret server somewhere at all times, whatever, This stuff is potentially malware. We don't know if it is or not, but the fact that it's closed source indicates that it probably is. I mean, you don't know what shady stuff these guys are doing unless you can literally look at the source code and find out. So, on multiple levels, I disagree with the platform that is Discord, and I'm very happy to be off of there. And if any of you would like to contact me, you know what to do. My matrix is out there. I don't use it very much because I don't have conversations with people very much. I usually just do language study. But on the off chance that I happen to show up, there it is. And that's why I don't use Discord.